Army.mil brings you a Corps of Engineers special.
13 months ago, this city was devastated by Hurricane Katrina. Over the past few days, I've spoken with the director of Task Force Hope, chief of the Hurricane Protection Office, demolition crews, floodgate engineers, biologists, and homeowners. And they've all shared one message. Through the journey of suffering, loss, and trial, commitment, service, and the human spirit have prevailed. This is a special edition of the Engineer Update. In New Orleans, I'm Mary Cochran.
Relevant, ready, responsive, reliable.
U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Louisiana's wetlands support a $220 million sport and hunting industry, a $14 million alligator industry, and the most productive fishery in the country, ranked second only to Alaska.
And that fishing industry is very important to the economy here and to the national seafood market.
Much of that production takes place in the Barataria Basin, which extends from the Mississippi River to the Gulf of Mexico. More than 139,000 acres were lost to last year's hurricanes.
As those wetlands disappear, the nursery for all of those fish and shellfish disappears as well.
The Barataria Basin is essentially the back door to New Orleans. There are a number of channels that would allow storm surge to push right up into the back of the city. The landscape can have a significant effect on the impact of the storm, on the surge itself, on the types of waves that build on top of that surge.
It will take 25 to 30 years for some areas to recover from last year's hurricane. Life is getting back to normal on the streets of the French Quarter. It will take longer on the streets of destruction in the 9th Ward. What remains of a lively neighborhood is vacant lots and a home arranged by a massive flood surge. Inside, clothes still on the hanger. Images that show the full scope of damage left from Hurricane Katrina. The Corps of Engineers is working to rid the city of these scars.
Today we're doing a demolition on this house at 3508 Liberty Street. It's been condemned by the city, and we have our contractors now demolishing it, getting rid of it.
A crew of 12 work a demolition this size, which takes between 6 and 10 hours. It includes an archaeologist who watches for items of historic or cultural value, and an air monitor, as this home contains asbestos. The framework of the past tumbles, creating piles and piles of debris.
That one demolition produced 15 truckloads of debris. In the past 13 months, over 800,000 such truckloads have been collected here in Louisiana. And if you were to line them all up, they'd stretch from California to New York.
We're getting the storm out of the city. We're making the community safer, and so that people can, come with a sense of closure to this tragedy. The rebuilding process can take place as well as the healing.
Construction of the federal flood system protecting the city of New Orleans and southeast Louisiana is the largest civil works project in U.S. history.
We did things different than we've ever done before.
The multi-billion-dollar project consists of 59 separate construction projects carried out by 26 Corps contractors. 90% of those contractors are local.
There's a mission, pride, and values that drives people to do this kind of work.
Leroy Smith does this kind of work. He and his team worked
day and night,
getting the 12 temporary pumps at the London Avenue Canal up and running. They have a pumping capacity of 2,800 cubic feet per second, which could fill an average backyard swimming pool in less than a second.
16-foot wave of water will hit this structure. It's going nowhere. It'll stop it dead in its track. And that's a great accomplishment.
When Leroy's long days are over, he returns here to this FEMA trailer. His home was one of many hit by Hurricane Katrina.
The water was at this level inside of the house.
And yet his first priority was the city.
Yeah, New Orleans was down, but we were not out.
And it's about that commitment.
Arguably the second most important mission in the United States Army Corps of Engineers today, second only to our support to the global war on terrorism.
It's a $5.8 billion effort recognizing the strategic importance of the New Orleans area.
The river is the entryway to the center part of the United States. There's somewhere between 35 and 40% of the petroleum products that support this nation are either produced off from the Louisiana coast or come up the Mississippi River as imported products.
40% of fish that the nation consumes also comes from coastal Louisiana. Protecting this area means creating an infrastructure to support industry and people, as well as upgrading 350 miles of levees and flood walls to the 100-year level of flood protection by the year 2010. That's a big job.
We, the United States Army Corps of Engineers, don't do anything in and of ourselves. We bring in to the team architect engineers from around the United States and construction contractors, and it's that working together as a team.
A team that the world is observing.
As we're looked back and judged at how well we do, our reputation will be our yardstick. Measured not in inches, but in the strength of the relationships we develop, the confidence we inspire, and our ability to execute.
Relevant, ready, responsive, reliable.
U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.